So we're talking about anxiety, uncertainty. How do we deal with that? Do you want to start off with?
Yeah, well, we've talked a lot about that. That comes up a lot. Like I think almost every coaching session I've had of late begins with, I ask, how are you? And the response is, I think I'm good, or I'm not sure. And so I think there's so much going on. We're all being impacted. I think we're putting a big label. There's so much uncertainty, yes, about the future. But the reality is uncertainty has always been there. Sometimes we try and create the illusion of certainty because it makes us feel better. You know, we could feel like we've got that secure job, but we know no job is really secure. And if you ask people 2 months ago when the economy and everything in their lives were booming great, they're like, yeah, I'm so certain, it's all good. They're living in certainty. But did certainty exist? No, because this came anyway. So that's the one thing we don't get to control in life, is exactly how it plays out and how it unfolds from moment to moment, from the next minute after we get off this call from you. So again, the gift for being a fortitude is when we can learn actually to radically accept uncertainty and recognize that it's just a part of how we move through life. This is something we take everywhere we go. That's how we bring more joy and happiness is. And actually, I think you would be great to talk about uncertainty, because sure, our whole lives are uncertain just because we work for ourselves. And so we've constantly learned how to stay in uncertainty, because we're like, okay, we've had these clients leave, or this has happened, and we got to pay bills and eat, and we don't know when the next ones are coming, and what do we have to do to find it? And no, technology's changing. Do we need to be on board? Do we not? Can we miss the Facebook era? Is that okay? So we do that. But this gentleman over here, not only is he a great coach, but he's also a wonderful actor. And as an actor, and we have some also on this call who are brilliant Canadian talent. And as an actor, I've never seen a profession that is more uncertain in my life. Like, I just living with him and I'm not, would bring up anxiety. So maybe you want to address your uncertainty coping strategies.
I feel like now I'm in my session. Right?
Yeah.
Uncertainty. Yeah, being an actor in that profession, there's a lot of moving parts that have really little to do with me. And so artists deal with uncertainty all the time. But to speak more broadly about uncertainty is that, you know, if I said, you know, in December it's going to snow, winter's coming, that would be new, but it's new that we've experienced before. It's not unique. And so we know how to deal with that change. But this is new and we don't know. There's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. Yeah. And it speaks to our desire to want to control and be on top of life. I've got the money, I got my job, I got all these things, because we believe that we need to be in control in order to feel better or calm or relaxed, when in fact actually really is an illusion. And you think about think of a goalie player in hockey. A goalie could come out of his goalie and start telling all the players around him, don't do that and do this. And he could start coaching his players so that he never gets a shot on net. That's not going to work. So that won't work. So instead of him trying to control the players so that he never gets a shot on net, the goalie stays in his crease. He stays there and has the mindset of, it doesn't matter that I can't control, but I'm going to be in charge. And that is a different mindset. Being in charge is, I'll deal. And so we can't deal with May because we're not in May, but we can deal very minutely, very compartmentalized today. So what can you do today? It's 1:45. So at 1 o'clock, what are you going to do? How can you change your state then? That's really the only control that you have, is over this moment and then this next moment. You know, I have family members in AA, and they really love the mantra of, like, one day, even 1 hour. Am I going to be okay for the next 5 minutes? I'm going to try to expand that to 10 minutes. And they work their way up to 1 day at a time. They're living in the present moment because they cannot handle not having a drink for 7 days. That's just too big. In this situation with COVID, it's just too big. We can't handle it. We can't have answers because we don't even know some of this stuff yet. We're trying the best we can. So actually another way to think about it is that, you know, when I put my son in the car and, you know, he's got to wear a seatbelt. Seatbelt is a great idea. It keeps him safe, right? It's important to wear seatbelts. But how I approach that same action, I can approach it two ways. I can say, honey, put on your seatbelt. Or I can say, oh my God, you got to put on the seatbelt. Bad things could happen. Get the seatbelt on. The action is the same, but my energy on how I make that action happen is very different for how I experience it, how my son experiences, how Ellen in the passenger seat is like, what are you doing? So it's the energy we bring to preparedness, the energy we bring to the present moment. How can we be in charge here? The circumstances can matter less because I'm purposely going to choose the circumstances to matter slightly less today and increase how I feel about it. Even if it can't be, oh, I'm going to go to happiness, can it be, it sucks less? Can I be a little less fearful? Can I put a pause on worry? Hey, I did it for 5 minutes. That's the stepping stone.
And you have to remember we have habits of thought, and that's really what you're working with, and you're trying to build new habits. So this takes repetition. It means going slow. When we're nervous, when we're triggered, we go fast, 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 fast. And all these thoughts go by, and so you have to slow everything down so you can really hear yourself. You can work, you may see there's many different thoughts. You may just decide I'm going to pick one and work on this until I feel like I've made some movement, and then I'll pick another thought. You can do exercises of balanced thinking. So if you're playing the what if scenarios out, well, what if this and what if that and what if this and oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Make sure then you also play the other side of the what ifs. Well, what if actually we end up in a better place? What if this actually ends up not being much in a few months and things go back to normal? What if I actually like myself better at the end of this because it gave me an opportunity to do something that I wouldn't have normally had to do. It forced me into some forced growth, things like that. So make sure you have both sides. It's really important to be in charge. That's the one thing you are in charge of, is your own thinking, and to give yourself those thoughts. And if you're having trouble generating it yourself, because I do understand when I'm in a triggered state sometimes, I can't get to those thoughts. They exist in two different vibrational spaces. And so if I'm really stuck and hanging out in this one space, it's harder for me to get to the space I need to. So the journaling and those exercises sometimes help me inch my way along. But another one is I can turn to Jeff, I can turn to a friend, I can turn to someone else. And especially if you have those real positive people who are good at bringing balance, which actually, if you're on this call, you're probably that to many other people. It's great. Keep those ones close right now.